are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So here we are. After 6 weeks, we are at the end of the fucking line for my rib. There's no one else to see. There's nowhere else to go. So today I went down to see the doctor I've been wanting to see for the last 6 weeks, Dr. Nathan Gibbs, head doctor of Australia Rugby Union, the New South Wales Waratahs, fucking Sydney Swans, Souths, Manly, fucking all of them. This is the guy. So I fucking go down there and I recognize him immediately from TV. He used to do the Swans updates. I used to fucking go to the Sydney Swans website every Thursday to see who the fuck was injured. And Dr. Nathan Gibbs used to do the fucking update. So he brings me in and he's like, "You're a bit of a jiu-jitsu guy, are ya?" I'm like, "I fucking love it. I froth it." I don't know if I'd call myself a jiu-jitsu guy, but I love doing it. He's like, "So what happened?" And I go through the whole thing that I've gone through like 17 times on this podcast already. On the Tuesday, did a twisting move, popped out. I smacked it back in. Then on the Thursday, I went back to wrestle, got a hit on it. It went in and never came back out. He's like, "Okay, all right, let's have a look at it. Lift your shirt up." I showed him and he's like, "Okay, yeah, your ribs protruding." I'm like, "Honestly, you're one of the first doctors to say that." Even though it's 100% visible, I've found it very difficult for anyone to admit it. So he grabs the rib and he's feeling the ridge from the protruding rib. And he's like, okay. I'm like, see how it feels like broken or dislocated? He's like, "All right, lie down." So I lie down and I'm like, I guess the MRI didn't pick it up because when I lie down, the rib comes closer together. It didn't show the fucking break. So he's fucking around with it. He's pushing down on my rib. He's clicking it sort of back into place and then it's sort of like popping out a little bit. He's like, "Yeah, see, this is where your rib should be and this is where it is." Okay. And then he's like, "All right, let's go look at your MRI scans." And I'm like, "You're already way ahead of everyone else." So he looks at the MRI scans. He didn't even look at the report, didn't ask for the report. He goes straight to the MRI scans, finds where the break is, like within 10 seconds. He's like, "See here? This is where your cartilage has broken off from the bone." I'm like, "Thank fucking God." He's like, look. And he reeled back to like all the other ribs. And I'm going to be honest with you, I had no idea what I was looking at. No fucking idea at all. He's pointing at it. I sort of worked it out after he explained everything to me, but I couldn't tell a rib from a fucking heart or a fucking fat arm. I don't know. So he's like, "Here, it's a clear break. It's come off the bone. It's a broken rib cartilage. We treat it the same as a broken rib." And then he turns to me and he's like, "This is actually a very common injury." I'm like, "It's common?" He's like, "Yes, it's very common." I'm like, "Well, fucking, I've spoken to countless people who have never seen this before." He's like, no, this is very common injury, especially in rugby league and rugby union, AFL as well. The cartilage breaks away from the bone and then is sort of loose and flapping around. We used to just give the boys injections and send them back out there and they just manage with the pain as best they could. It's basically whatever you can manage with the pain. I'm like, "Seriously?" He's like, "Yeah, I used to work with the New South Wales Waratahs. We used to get 2 a year, every year. 2 of the exact same injuries. It's very common." And this is why I wanted to see him, because I wanted a doctor that had seen it before. I wanted a doctor who would tell me it's very common. And then he goes, "It's a very common injury and the treatment is 0. There's nothing you can do about it." There's nothing you can fucking do about it. What's going to happen is, over time, see how I could move your rib up and down? it still had a little bit of movement in it. Well, over time, it will settle in a spot and it will move less and less and it will just stay where it is. It will have the same strength. You'll be fine with the strength, but you'll have that fucking bump. I'm like, forever? He's like, yeah. I'm like, nothing we can do. There's nothing we can do about it. He's like, nah, you just let it heal where it is. It'll strengthen up. It's usually a 3-month sort of injury. And then you can just go back to it. I'm like, fucking jujitsu and everything. He's like, yeah. I'm like, but it's fucking sticking out so far. He's like, people won't even notice it. I'm like, people notice it. Mainly because I'm fucking pointing it out and going, look at this fucking shit. He's like, don't worry about it. People won't even notice it. I'm like, well, fucking, all right. And then I was like, well, I've got an appointment with a cardiothoracic surgeon next Wednesday. And I was just wondering, like, is it even worth going to see him? He's like, well, that's up to you. And I'm like, what would the surgical remedy be for this? Like, what would that process look like? He's like, you wouldn't want to go down that path. He's like, you would have to get it all braced up. It would be metal, a metal brace, and it would be screwed into the cartilage. And the screws don't hold very well in the cartilage. So any impact is going to cause pain. And then it's not going to be a good ride. And he's like, honestly, if you go and see a surgeon and he tells you anything other than get the hell out of here, go rest, let it heal, then fucking I'd be running a million miles away from that guy because he's a fucking cowboy. Don't worry about surgery. Just fucking, it'll heal over time. You can do whatever you want, whatever you can manage with the pain, do it. The good thing is you're not going to be injuring anything else with it. It is what it is now, and you just got to give it a little bit of time. But you can do whatever you want. Exercise, explosive stuff. Like if you get a knock on it, it's going to be a little bit painful, but whatever you want to do. So in the end, the conclusion is basically structurally it's sound. It's going to be sound. Even though there's a protruding rib, I can do whatever the fuck I want. It's not going to be a problem. It will grow back. It will fucking, I don't know, calcify with the same strength in the position it's in now. And there's no extra damage that can be done. The only problem is I have a fucking weird rib sticking out now for the rest of my life. And that means if there is a surgical fucking intervention that can be taken, the only reason I would be taking it is cosmetic. So it would be a vanity project. I would be cutting into my chest right next to my heart. Right above all my vital organs to get a fucking plate, a steel plate screwed into my cartilage, which will probably move around anyway and loosen like a shitty fucking door from China, just to fucking look slightly better. I can't be that guy. I can't be like, take out my rib because I want to look hot. Who am I looking hot for? I'm on the fucking back end anyway. I'm married and got kids. It's mainly for myself. It's not even for other people. I want to look hot for myself. And if I was going to do a vanity project, like I would get fucking hair surgically implanted into my head. I would take hair over rib any day. People wouldn't even look at my rib if I had fucking dreadlocks. So I'm thinking I'm not even going to bother going to the thoracic surgeon. I think it's done. I'm kind of relieved. I'm kind of happy, even though I've got a jutting out rib. At least I know structurally it's going to be sound. I asked him if I can get back into jiu-jitsu and that. He's like, yeah, no worries. When he was telling me about the rugby players that have the same injury, I'm like, what happened with them? He's like, they just kept playing. I'm like, even with like a jutting out rib like that, he's like, yeah. I'm like, Jesus Christ, those tough cunts. I'm real concerned. I'm like, but what if I get a hit on it? He's like, it's going to hurt. He's used to fucking dealing with tough cunts. They probably don't even ask that question. I'm like, what happens if it hits the tip of my rib? Yeah, it's going to hurt. If you want to do jiu-jitsu or kickboxing, yeah, and you get a hit on it, it's going to hurt. Maybe put a little pad or something there so there's a little bit of protection. But yeah, you'll probably get a little soreness. I'm like, well, fair enough. At least I know. But I came back home and I looked at myself in the mirror, and I think there's a way to cosmetically fix it. What I need to do, there's 2 ways to cosmetically fix it, just so people don't notice the rib. The first one is I do a shitload of upper fucking abdominal exercises and just have that fucking top section just popping out, even just a bit more, like maybe a centimeter, and it takes a little bit of the fucking jut out. But that's a lot of hard work, and I don't really like doing ab exercises. The other fucking way to fix it is just become a fucking fat fuck. If I become a fat cunt, it won't even be seen. It will be just engulfed. No one will even notice. People's eyes will go straight to the titties and my gut that's hanging over my pants. Won't even notice underneath there's a jutting out rib. I think I have no choice, really. I'm going to have to start doing ab work and get those fucking abs popping out a little bit further to mitigate the fucking jut. But it's the end of the fucking road. It's the end of the rib journey. I'm not going to speak about it anymore. That's it. I've got all my answers. Structurally, it's sound. I was correct. There was a break. The cartilage tore off the fucking bone. 16 cunts couldn't figure that out. The lesson to be learnt here is if you get sick or injured, don't waste your money going to fucking morons that have no fucking idea. Charlatan chiropractors, fucking idiot doctors, MRI fuckwits. Just go to the best fucking person you can find. Do a little bit of research. Ask around, figure out who the fucking best person is. And the best person isn't your mate's mate. That's just another fucking cunt. Like, really find the best person. I found the Australian Rugby Union head doctor. He was $50 more than the fucking chiropractor around the corner here, 5 minutes from my house, who fucking gave me some acupuncture and fucking a red laser on it for 10 minutes. A red laser. Just find the best people, and the medical establishment on a whole, besides a few special fucking exceptions, is a fucking disgrace. Anyway, that'll do for today, and I'll see you the fuck later.